I did have someone who listens to our meetings on Zoom call and advise us all to listen to our meetings. She said when we talk over each other and talk when somebody else is talking, then it really, so I would kind of try to hold it down that we don't talk to each other, especially when Terry's reading her minutes, because that particular person couldn't catch, and she likes the details. So we'll give it a try. That's all we can do. So, Madam Auditor, would you please read the minutes?
You bet. September 10th, 2024, the Board of Supervisors met at 9 a.m. with Jean Hayden, Chair presiding, members present, Schultz, Dozark, Hayden, Mulbauer, and Rosberg. Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. On motion, the board recognized claims for public health and approved claims for all other departments. The board approved the resignation of seasonal park assistants at conservation. The board discussed the current VA space at the courthouse after the transition to the Crawford County Community Services Center lower level. The board took a short recess to evaluate the space and other departments that could utilize the space. The board discussed the appointment of zoning administrator. No action was taken at this time. On motion, duly seconded, the board adjourned at 11 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting.
All right, any corrections or additions to that? Otherwise, the minutes will be approved. All right, reports from supervisors and their standing committees. Who had anything exciting they want to talk about this week?
And false start.
All right, very good. We have a volunteer. Appreciate it.
It won't take long. Greg and I, was that last Thursday, met with Jim Muff and assessed the fence on the county farm. Would be the northwest quarter. So about an 1/8 mile of fence, that's our fence, that needs replaced. Most every wooden post is about ready to fall over. And, everything else has been replaced except that. Jim's replaced all his fence around that, and then we replaced everything. She's the one that, you and I were on the board at that time, so how this
Why it didn't get done
why it didn't get done, I don't know. So it got missed, so. And Jim was very, very kind or whatever, understanding that, but it needs to be replaced. So then it posed a problem who we get to do fencing anymore, because the Huberts have all retired. So but Mr. Dozark ran into a name on a wall at Ampride. So, and through his connection, through what I was searching, because apparently there's a young gentleman from Dunlap that bought out my Hubert, and I think your name on the wall is the same guy I was looking for. So you've reached out to him, and Thursday of this week,
Yep.
you're going to meet him out there.
Yep.
Craig, can you send me that number?
It's gonna be a well-used number, so.
Get him before he gets busy.
Yeah. Don't give it to him
Hammond?
after he commits to your.
Hammond, is that?
I think it's Hale.
Hale.
I think Dalton Hale was who I believe I talked to.
So I think we need to, definitely need to do that, like, with the 40 rods, I think I said, which.
I mean, it's currently all wood posts, there's not a steel post in there,
No,
and
no.
so. I mean,
At least we'd match
Right,
Jim Mouse
just match
wood,
what Jim did.
steel, I think, wood, steel, 5 barbs. Which.
So that's a cost that we didn't expect.
Yeah.
What do they want to do, like a 5?
I would
So
get
you got
5
5.
barb pasture fence, so. I think our fence is pretty well buttoned up around that county farm. And then, continuing on with that, Randy Cooman's been in touch with Craig and I in regards to the seeding of the 10-year ground ready, so he's gearing himself up for that and trying to get out in front of some of the tillage, if any tillage and all that, so he can be ready to seed that come November 1st when the seeding window opens for that, so. I did stop over at the Crawford County Community Services Building this morning, and Carroll Control is in there, and they're well underway of.
Right, I think they got there Thursday last week.
The new units are all inside, not completely hooked up or nothing, and they were actually, Larry Herrig was there this morning, they were all it was neat because they're making sure everybody had room for generators and outside units and so on and so forth. The disheartening part was that there was still plumbing inside, so
I was gonna call him.
Larry was gonna get a hold of him as well, so.
Kind of bad.
Unbelievable, actually.
Okay,
What's the other?
anyways, but Larry did say he was going to call for an electrical inspection, which needed to be done before the drywall could be put up, so.
Who does that? You know,
I know the state fire marshal's office
Okay.
is, unless the city has a guy, I'm just going by when we built our building and a gentleman representative from the state fire marshal's office stopped in and did the electrical inspection, so.
gotcha.
So one of them two. But I think Denison might have their own inspector.
I don't know. No idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But anyway, all right, good news, bad news right
and
there.
then I gotta go to Cherokee Friday for a yes center meeting. Got to,
Got to.
but I will be going to
Do
Cherokee.
they Zoom for you guys?
Yeah, I usually don't get much out of them Zoom meetings.
I do pretty good with them, but
Getting better.
Self-service and stuff. And
They have their place, but it's not the same as being in person.
well,
well, it's the after dinner discussion that you get more out of, hey, did you understand this? Or why are we doing that?
yeah,
Those are the questions. That's actually why I like being there.
the networking after the meeting is.
Plus, the other thing,
It's better to have those ahead of time so you can kind of.
sometimes the
I know.
questions don't
I
arise
know.
until you hear everything in the meeting.
But it's still nice to have it as an option.
Yeah, yeah, it is, because it just, especially like for central Iowa, there's, I think it ain't easy to get over there all the time on Friday.
I'm gonna hop in with just to save the date, for our Tim Fairchild, who's our, district. Yep, they have the winter district meeting at 12 p.m. on December 11th at the Little Sioux Event Center in Cherokee, 201 Linden Street. The cost of the buffet is $12. I need to RSVP for approximately how many will be there. So I just thought that I would maybe RSVP for all of them.
I liked it when they were so like
It
nice
just was too
centered.
small, it was too small.
I know, it got
yeah,
small.
yeah. So that's
Wait
his,
tight.
December 11th,
December
not to
11th.
plan that far ahead.
I know.
Where's it at again?
Cherokee, the,
Little Sioux
Little Sioux Event Center at 201 Linden Street.
There it is.
Okay, so just kind of a heads up, work the date kind of a deal, and then if you want me to, I'll RSVP to him how many will be coming from Crawford County. If you
I'll
want.
try to, I don't know.
Do you know what day the 11th is?
It's a Wednesday.
Do you want that on your agenda in the the upcoming meetings area?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's do that, so that you guys are hammering it in so that we don't, double book
I
ourselves.
should be able to make that one.
Okay?
What time does it start?
Wednesday.
12 o'clock noon, $12 for the buffet, so bring some cash. So, so far we have,
I understood you were by.
only if I win the lottery.
No.
I can't, because then that would be something, I can't buy you anything, because that's, yeah, sorry, otherwise I would.
You can't tell that you bought us.
In a public meeting.
In a public meeting, yeah. Talk to me later. All right, so. do
Are we driving the electric car?
Woo woo.
Absolutely, as long as you remember to turn it off.
I want to be there when y'all get out.
Bring your come along.
This one's a little bit roomier. It would fit most of us. But should I RSVP for 5?
Yeah.
And I don't, yeah, so, right, I will do
Not
that.
going.
So I threw myself in there.
Best behavior.
Alrighty.
If that's possible.
That's not possible.
Do you have any?
Yeah, I do. I guess just to piggyback a little bit on what Kyle said, is I did get back a hold of Jim Buck, and he did give us permission to drive out there. He said, just take a pickup, takes a pickup out there all the time, go through his pasture to show Dalton's fence. That's the easiest, simplest way to get there, is to go through Jim's pasture. So I talked to him, and he said, yeah, go ahead. So had a Wesco meeting last night. Couple of things, I guess their new house that they purchased on North 16th Street, they've got 4 people in there, so it's
Oh,
full.
wow.
And, the concrete pad has been poured for their future home that they're building on, North 19th Street. They, currently are servicing 186 people, which is a record high for Wesco. They've got 137 employees. I just wanted to tell you about the age breakdown for the people that Wesco serves. They serve 1 person, age 4 to 5. They serve 13, ages 6 to 17. They serve 25 people, ages 18 to 21. They serve 66 people, ages 22 to 40. They serve 63 people, 41 to 65, and they serve 18 people, 66 to 85. So I had never seen that breakdown before, so I just wanted to share it with you.
That's cool.
And then, with West Central Community Action, once in a while, like I said, they do send us some success stories, and this is from the Family Development and Self-Sufficiency, FADDS. And here is the participant is female, age 34. She entered the program on November 7th of 2022. Exited the program on August 30th of 2024. She has 3 children. A son age 10, daughter age 7, son age 6. And here's her situation at entry. At entry into the program, the participant had just been released from jail and was in recovery from substance abuse. The father of her children was in prison due to substance abuse issues. The participant had a driver's license but didn't have a vehicle. She was living with a friend at entry because she lost her home when she went to jail. She was also unemployed. Certainly some barriers that they had was a substance abuse history, recent incarceration, unemployed, needed housing, separated from husband due to his incarceration, and situational trauma to the children. Strengths of her was she did have some work experience. She had a high school education. She has a great support system to help her, and she's willing to work on goals and access local agencies for assistance. And what happened while the family was in the FADSS program, the participant worked with Heartland Family Services to obtain subsidized housing. She was able to find employment and has maintained her job for over a year. She was able to save enough money to purchase her own vehicle and make sure the vehicle was insured. The participant started therapy after being released from jail and is still using those services to maintain good mental health. The children have also been involved in therapy services, and we've been working on parenting skills while she was in the program. The participant also participated in the local parenting program, which she is still involved in. The children are actively attending school, and both the participant and her husband are now involved with their schooling. At the beginning of the year, the participant's husband was released from prison. He was given permission from the county to move into the home with his family and will continue probation for another year. He has found full-time employment and was able to purchase his own car. The family feel they've made a lot of positive changes since starting with FADSS. They say the FADSS worker has been important in their life to move forward on their goals and have enjoyed those visits. So just like when I have good stories and we see
appreciate it.
success that funding does help, want to share those with you.
We really need to hear those success stories, so we really know that it is working. A lot of times all we get is the negative part of it, so I appreciate that very, very
So
much.
that's all I got.
Very, very, very much. Fabulous. Dave, what do you have?
So I had Region 12 last week, and business pretty much as usual. We went through the director's report, the transfer report, the financials. Chris did the local assistance report, went over a lot of projects and things we're working on. I did get to talk to Chris a little bit about zoning and what they're doing with Guthrie. I did talk to Kyle a little bit about it. And it's not really Region 12's wheelhouse to take over a position like zoning administrator or anything else. You know, they're meant to be more of a toolbox that you can reach out for advice. You don't want to take over all these county's positions that, you know, that can't fill.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a slippery slope
Mhm.
Where if they did, I know they did with Guthrie, but that was kind of in a pinch, and then now look at this, they're still trying to find somebody 7 years later to fill that position.
It's unbelievable how the board of supervisors in Guthrie County would let it slip for 7 years. Thought I'd give it a rise on Terry.
It's no fun.
But you know,
I'm not surprised.
and even that, at the time, the chairperson, I think Chris said, was from Guthrie, said, we just need to have you do this to fill in until we can get something, and since then, they're still covering that job. You hate that if they did start taking on all these, how do you know that the 6 counties would say, we can't fill environmental health position, we can't fill XYZ 911, whatever. And all of a sudden, you know, they're not meant to be taking over these positions, they're meant to assist in. And Chris said, you know, if you guys would like, I'd really, maybe you get into a tough situation with zoning or something that, you know, your current zoning administrator doesn't know about, by all means, we can work out an agreement where call me and I'll help them, or, you know, if it's a bigger project and they need to just hourly bill back for, you know, assisting in something that's more difficult, we can do that, but not take over the position itself.
Well, I'm glad you reached out and asked. We just wanted
Yeah,
to know.
yeah.
Right,
So we can either, you know, check it off the box as something that, okay, that's not an option.
but they said by all means, reach out and use this if you get in those situations you don't understand, or, you know, it's a tougher situation.
I did take the liberty to go up and talk to, Kenny Call at the Crawford County Abstract, because he would have access to all the GIS and be familiar with
Oh,
zoning
sure.
and things. And, just like everybody else I've talked to about it, I did talk to Sarah over at the Recorders, so that she didn't feel left out, that she didn't get an opportunity to do it. She respectfully said, not in her wheelhouse. But Kenny, said, well, you know, I don't really know what it entails, and I couldn't help a whole lot. I said, to my understanding, we had approximately 50 of them last year. Some of them only take 15 minutes, just a matter of signing an application. They do a lot of it with just your and he said, you know, if he knew a little bit more about it, he's not saying no, but, you know, it's hard to say, oh yeah, I'll do it. You have no idea what it really entails. So if we're inclined to want to do that, I would maybe see if he would talk to Seth and see if he could get a better, you know, pull that out of him, what it is. But I still really would like to keep it in this courthouse for the good of our public, because they're so used to coming to the courthouse for that service, you know, to be led to, you know, and plus the other part of that is Kenny's up those steps. You know, it's a phone call, but it's gonna be 3 phone calls in, because it's gonna be, they're always gonna call the courthouse to talk about it or stop in and then be directed to another place. It's gonna take years to retrain people that we don't do our zoning at our courthouse. We, have another, and I'm just hoping that, the person who has stepped up that they would possibly do it would, say, yeah, I'll do it.
Well, right now, there ain't any other choice. I mean, we gotta leave it where it's at and continue on.
I will think about doing it,
Thank you. Thank you.
because it doesn't deserve, the people don't deserve
Thank you.
to do
You're-
that, to have to do the struggles that you're talking
You're a true
about.
public servant.
And
That's the worst.
I think I can, Megan's learning more and more about Mary's position,
Right,
which of course encompasses all the things, real
Right.
estate,
right.
you know, GIS and
Correct.
reading deeds and all the things.
She'd be
But
perfect. She's so
I'm not gonna throw it
detailed.
on her lap initially, but we will start
Yeah.
training. I don't know where to even go for the training. Oh,
I'd reach out to Chris.
yeah, maybe he,
I mean, he's been
I will.
doing it with,
let me do some research on that.
But would it be feasible to have that money setting in a line item in which if Megan's on vacation and somebody else needs to do that?
Right,
That
it's
we don't
possible.
have
I'll
that
talk to Amy when she
attitude
gets
of,
back next week
you know,
and see what we
not
can do
my
about
job.
that,
You know,
as far as paying people that way.
I just throw that out
Just a
there
set amount for,
each time you get up and do,
Yeah.
because if we did 50 last year, rough estimate, and there's $5,000, that's $100 for each time you just have somebody. And I think that I can understand where somebody else that has to do it for a week. You know, the chances of somebody not coming in are good, or somebody coming in that I'm not getting paid anything extra to do it. I would pray that it's not that nitpicky, but once again, we want to address all the issues of, you know, what could create any, ill feeling in an office that somebody's getting paid and I'm doing the work. That seems to be I don't know, but thank you for stepping up, Terry.
I appreciate that, Terry. I
I
did
do too.
chance to talk to the former zoning administrator, and he said it was he didn't mind doing it because it actually helped him in doing his job as the assessor, because he said people would come in and ask for whatever, and
They
he's
seem
like,
connected.
oh, this filled in a lot of the blanks already for
Correct,
the next part of the puzzle, which led into the assessor job.
correct.
Exactly,
So
good
he's,
point.
So then I guess,
That's what I said from the
That's
beginning.
what, yeah,
Hi, good.
exactly.
you know, it
They're connected.
is how they're
Terry,
connected.
I do respect you stepping up for that big time, but well, why can't we just leave it where it's at?
Been doing
Yes, you
9
can.
months.
It's not gone 7 years yet. I mean,
Yeah. I just,
it's, yeah,
you continue to research your end.
I will. I will.
Thank you for, reaching out to the former, zoning person to maybe he could help fill in some blanks too of what exactly, you know, cause what says that, you know, sometimes somebody just needs to fill out an application, it's just a matter of that, but sometimes he has to go out, because if it's, you know, gonna be 3.5 acres versus 5 acres, and
Right.
making sure it's not in a commercial zone.
Correct.
And
Right.
But most, here's another thing we need to bring up. I had a call about our GIS isn't working.
Right.
It hasn't been
Weeks, it's
working.
probably going on the 3rd
And
week.
so,
Oh, really?
somebody
Yes.
kind of wonder what in the world's going on there.
Good question.
And I, unfortunately.
That's managed in the assessor's office as well, isn't
Yeah, it
that
is.
correct?
Yep.
So that was,
$87,000 for you?
I don't know who we need to
Have you
reach.
reached out to them? I talked to Seth about.
I have
you
not
guys?
yet, no,
The other thing that, which brings us all back together, was that he had also stated that through his office, people would come and want to help with septics and stuff, and he said it's very disheartening when you gotta pick up the phone or tell them to call this person in
agree.
Carroll County. So
I agree.
that's why he also agreed that zoning needs to stay
Stay here.
within this building, because
I agree.
you said 3 phone calls later, you're
Right.
finally
Right,
getting somebody that is not in this county to
not
help you
even in
with the
this
problem.
county, not even in this county.
It's frustrating when you get a teleprompter. that just asks them which extension
Oh,
you'd like, and then you
yeah.
get another teleprompter.
Yeah, I know,
You wouldn't wanna do that to people there.
yeah, I wish there was a way that we could, bring, you know, inspections back to Crawford County for what we were paying to Carroll County. You know, coordinate some of these, things that we pay this person 10,000, this person 5,000, and, you know, maybe.
Right.
That's card.
Weed commissioner,
Yeah, we can.
sanitarian,
Maybe we're not putting our
Yeah.
thinking hats on
zoning
hard
cat,
enough.
or
Well,
zoning,
I think
yeah.
this group, if any group, can get their thinking hats going and think outside the box and be of better service to our community. We should be able to bring some of these things back and have a central location for all of the services required in Crawford County. This, you have to call this first, you have to go here. I, as an individual, hate it. When I call the number that I was given and they say, you don't do it here, you have to call here, and then you've got 8 layers to get to, and
Are we looking for a new weed commissioner?
young or
for next
old,
year?
it doesn't
I'm
matter.
gonna guess we probably will be,
I know.
think.
We can't have it like last year, or like.
And I
this year.
talked to him, and I think
He's
this year
busy.
developed
He's
more
busy.
time than what
Yeah.
he thought it was
He's very
going.
busy.
This year was busier. Weeds
So we need
grew,
to advertise for that again?
I think the weeds grew more this year than,
They did.
I
They
can
had a
testify
wet
to that.
spring and,
I can
Yeah.
testify my weeds, around my place,
well, and he was doing some other work this summer that
he
he hadn't done
sells
before
chemicals on his
that.
own and just,
Yep,
with
Yeah.
everything, with the weeds and everything, it just turned into be too much for him. So, which is, he gave it a shot, I think.
ideally, it would be somebody who's out in the county, checking on properties, you know, part of the mission of the assessor's office is to be out there, you know, driving around, checking, you know, because the girls are out, I think almost every day, one driving, one looking at locations and, you know, it would just
What,
make sense. but I don't want.
what positions are all out there that we outsource, such as,
I'll write them down as.
Not very many. I mean,
sanitarian?
sanitarian.
I mean, and we, but to really understand what we have to offer, or what we could put together, we really need to know what we're gonna.
What
You know.
kind of, is there a back, what kind
Cause I
of,
mean, if we're paying 4 people, 5 people,
Well,
Or make a list.
$180,000 a year, just throwing numbers out. I know it's not that much. And you can reel it into where you got one person doing 4 jobs and you give them a decent wage.
yep,
We need to make a list on our board.
go for it.
Well, I was writing a list down here right now, just,
I know I was too.
so then we need to find out what that's costing taxpayers for each of them currently, and then just need to figure it out.
And for sanitary, is there an education or is there
Schooling,
a
I'm
certificate or I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have any idea.
sure there is.
You got 911. You got EMA, you got weed, you got sanitarium, you got zoning.
And then we're all good starts, is just, and then how much. I don't know if we can get all that lumped into
Right.
specific.
Feel free to take.
That's the other part of it, is it, would that be too broad of a,
That's
Some
too
of it's
broad. I
different.
mean, EMA
you're
is,
talking.
You know, we call that
Or some
part-time.
burn, what are you trying to get a, you know, just make,
That's why I throw it out, you guys.
yeah, no, that's fine, that's why we
I
gotta
mean, if you
understand
mix
what we're
EMA
doing.
and 911, but then when you start throwing zoning and all that, that's,
Right.
it's not in the wheelhouse.
Too much? Okay.
I mean, them two are kind of in a similar
2
wheel.
words, they're off my list. Down to weed, sanitary, and zoning.
I don't know what else there could be.
anything else.
It's gotta be in the wheelhouse. Well, I mean, it don't have to be in an exact wheelhouse. There's a lot to do with both of them first 2 jobs, or at least the first one that a part-time person doesn't have time.
We need to start with job descriptions on any of the things I mentioned, so that someone understands what all of those people do. It is so hard to sit here and guess and think that we would know when we have never seen a job description for anything. That's why I made my list longer than it probably had to be, but I started. I wanted somebody else to finish it, so.
If we'd have an outbreak of thistle, I suppose that would be an emergency.
Okay, let's,
We did have one year, what we have come in, that we had to keep a very close eye on.
Yeah.
It was, not Waterham, but Palmer Amaranth, there you go.
Yeah.
so what do we pay
That
the
would be,
weed
I mean,
commission?
there are things in agriculture that are emergencies.
Not very much.
Right.
It's an hourly.
It's hourly?
And I thought, for some reason, I was thinking it was less than 20,000 a year.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Way less.
Oh, yeah, way less. It's probably $14 or $15 an hour. I don't remember.
How much do we pay Carol for the,
Are we up in the 30,000 range? I can't
Jumped up Big
remember.
time this year.
I know. I don't
28 seemed to
remember.
Bring a number to me for some reason.
What'd you say?
28,000.
We just redid that.
We just
I
did,
think we're gonna have to, probably coming up, we were gonna revisit it.
because we don't know if we're gonna owe
Yeah.
more at the end of the year. or if
We're
gonna
almost
get a
half a year,
refund.
so I wonder where they're at on that. Remember, I have to look.
Good for thought, I mean, it makes sense. Once you start outsourcing more than all the
Plus the
stuff, you just won't get it all together.
inconvenience of not knowing for sure who's doing that right now and, you know.
Well, you know what I did
But if
have,
you have somebody that's separate from one of our already established departments for zoning, do you need to create an office here for them then?
We have some office space right now that we can, it's on our.
We're dedicating a lot of things to that office space at this
So
point.
those, 3 things total $48,000.
Yeah, I'm just another
But they, what's Miller,
cog in the wheel.
what's his, Miller, he does our flood and erosion for us. I mean,
To get over the,
Yeah.
Dustin.
Or,
Tyler?
works out of the NRCS.
Oh,
He he manages our $30,000 a year budget for us, but I don't think he ever spends a dime out of it.
Not very often.
Kind of Lauren?
Lauren Miller, yeah.
There, Lauren. Okay, I see you're talking about.
You said kid, not thinking of.
He's the one that watches over the ponds and what.
Yeah, Lundy Road, but, you know, there's another
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, another,
potential. I mean, it's not costing us anything, really, you know.
would he be interested in weed commissioner?
I think he's got a, well, I don't know.
Competency would be there.
Yeah,
I would
have a
guess.
job already.
Right. I think he manages multiple counties, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
It's a special person to be weed commissioner.
Yeah, you gotta have,
That'd be probably the hardest out of all these we throw out, that'd be the hardest one to fill, I think.
Right. And that one's only what, 5 months? April, May, June, July, and August?
But I think if it was in an office and it was the same person, there's probably stuff they could probably do.
there's probably
year-round,
grants
you know.
stuff out there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know Jason has a report to file yet. I
Yeah.
don't know if he
I'll get-
remembers it, but he does.
what's Carson? Carson would be weed commissioner.
Saying, pretty
Those are our
efficient flying a
updates on
drone,
that.
I've been seeing that fall in the combine around the last few days, so. It's some good pictures.
All right, so what direction do we want to take with any of that? Just kind of, keep
To be continued.
thinking of to be continued. All right, good discussion on that. If you think of any other outsourcing that we do, let's add that to the list. But right now, we're at $48,000 that we pay out to 3 different people for jobs that could possibly, one phone call and then a deal.
That's not including EMA and 911.
Not put, no, that's just, weed commissioner, there are approximate numbers, of course, and then the sanitarium and the zoning.
Yeah, can you start bringing them in that are governed by a different board again? 911.
I don't have anything to say about that, so I scratched them off very easily, very quickly for us.
Yep,
so
no, but
worries,
it's a good discussion, you
no worries.
know where it's gonna lead.
I did have Steve Smith from Guthrie County reach out to me. They are in the process of passing an eminent domain resolution, similar to what we had done in Shelby, and Greene County had done the same as also. Well, Steve was just kind of quizzing me on what we did, we had a resolution to pass it. Kind of more symbolic than anything, but we did it, and I think they're gonna go a little bit more in depth with their resolutions, what he was sounding like, and list out different entities, but just, I guess I bring it up because he called about what we had done, and it sounds like other counties are passing it as well. That's it.
Do you have anything? Otherwise, I have one more thing I can.
Well, I did have a couple meetings. One of them was in the development sector, so there's not really a lot to divulge there. Just know that we are steady, hard working it, doing some development. Had a VA meeting, or not VA, but, Military and Veterans Affairs Committee meeting, NACO. VA's got a shortfall in their budget. Surprised me with the PACT Act. I don't think they really were prepared for the spending that they would do. It was probably hard to budget for, something new to deal with. So, it's actually attributed to the PACT Act. There's probably a $3 billion shortfall, so.
A what?
They're at $3 billion shortfall.
Wow.
It's significant, yeah.
That's a terrible place to have a shortfall.
Well, I wouldn't argue that, but I also would say that, there was a lot to the PACT Act to digest, and I think it's probably, they were just doing it, and all of a sudden, hey, we're out of money. That's my guess. I don't know what happened. But, it was a new law, so, I'll give them a little bit of a break, I guess. 2.9 billion, actually. But, let's see, they're trying to wait for some of this continuing spending resolutions and stuff. Hopefully that'll make up that. But they're having a little bit of difficulty because the Republicans aren't wanting to overspend. I think that's something that they'll probably fund. But, and when I say Republicans, the House are, being stingy, which is what we hired them to be. Or what their voters hired them to be. Oh, they're also working on the VA doesn't really have a dental benefit program. So they're working on that, how to create, but obviously, because we don't have a lot of dentists in the VA system, it'd probably be a community care thing, so they're, what's the Delta Dental, and there's another one. I think it's in here. Anyway, they're discussing with some private insurers to maybe create a program for those that are on full disability. And then also Operation Greenlight's coming, so, and I'm sure Louise is working on something. I haven't talked to her about any of this stuff, so, but anyway, that's, one of the meetings that I had, and we had the leadership meeting for the, Ag Committee, get together, talk about what we want to talk about with the whole meeting, and obviously the Farm Bill, there's some people that think that we can actually get them to work on the Farm Bill, but let's face it, election still isn't here. Dead, lame duck session, nobody's gonna work on anything that serious. So I think you just work on keeping the things in that are good. And if you got some other stuff that would help be beneficial, I mean, there's still the new farmer and small farmer financing issues, whether it's, helping them at low interest loans and stuff like that. Them are still priorities in the Farm Bill, so I'm not really worried about losing that at this point. But I think that, SNAP people are content with how things are sitting right now, at least until they go back into talking about stuff. Everybody seems to be. So I look for more CRs on that thing until we get to it, Sadly, we can't get things done that should be. I don't know what to tell them people up there. Get to work. Anyway, that was pretty much all I had.
You're hired to do a job, please do it.
Please do it. Life is what you do while you're waiting to die, so you just will do a good job. Quote, DJT. I think that's probably pretty simple. Okay. That's about all I got.
All right, I should, so somebody had sent me a little bit of information, we always kind of talk about that volunteer reward. And it seems like one that's got some good teeth in it. It would need to be, you need to reside in the town, in the community in which you volunteer. Property must be your primary residence, and if you use it for anything else, it would be excluded. Service requirements, you must meet a minimum service, which is typically between 2 and 5 years as determined by our tax-paying jurisdiction. Certification, you must be certified by the authority having jurisdiction over the volunteer organization and enrolled member and required for a number of years. All these things have X's that we could kind of fill in the blank. It says additionally, some jurisdictions offer a lifetime exemption for volunteers with at least 20 years of service that maintain their primary residence. Unremarried surviving spouses would be eligible. And there's a lot of information we can gather. I think it's kind of on the right path of what we were looking for. Do you want me to go further and kind of bring it back up?
Is this reward that Patsy Fleshner won the other year?
This is from actually a different state that has all of these kind of guidelines that we could use. One of the things that I liked in it is that you would have to be certified, so it kind of helps. It helps entice more people to come in, gives you rewards it's up to 10% property valuation exemption is what they're talking about. So I just thought we'd bring that back on the table and maybe kind of tweak it up a little bit. I can get these things printed out for you and bring it back to us. I didn't know if I had a chance to talk today, so anybody interested in?
Yeah, why don't you
Okay.
have the office, like, if you can get them to email that to us,
Okay.
we can have a chance to look
All
through
right,
it
sounds
before.
good. All right,
If you want to put it on the agenda or something, we talk about it next week.
I will have worked out the details of it and kind of figure out the pitfalls to it and see how these other are making it work. But I kind of like the fact that it had some minimum service requirements. You know, it says typically between 2 and 5 years as determined by, you know, it's all kind of up to us. But I think we have to start someplace with it. And it can be up to 10% of your valuation. And I think giving an up to amount also has you work a little bit harder to maintain that certification and to be a regular member. So there's some details that need to be worked out, but I thought it was pretty
It's
close to
still
what we,
property tax.
right. Valuation, similar to the homestead exemption part of what we're doing.
Still,
I'll forward it.
Something to have, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
Corey Snowgren or Corey Gaston.
Primary residence, is that?
Land
Yeah,
Department or somebody, you know that.
Corey
it seemed like when we were down
Okay,
this
all right,
road a
good.
number of years ago, we run into the resistance about.
Just curious what they thought.
Those that
People-
rent out.
We kind of like to.
People that don't own.
I said I
People
didn't
that
put it
don't
on
even
the
live in our
agenda because.
county
we
that are in a
already
fire
heard
district.
decision, and I
Yeah.
didn't- but I just didn't know if we
The
had
ones
the
that
right
I
path
knew
and
at
everything.
that time.
So, a lot of research, a lot of things to
That were
look
like,
up, the law and the
This is
property
better than
tax.
nothing, it's gonna. Maybe.
I will
I
bring
always
that
like
back.
to, because it encourages you to buy a house in our county.
Next week, and I will have forwarded this to them, and I will have all the questions answered.
Or some particular service store.
How's that?
Good.
All right, we have 4 minutes to pass. We could talk a minute about where we're gonna store the courthouse flags. What's the thought of that?
I actually have some thoughts.
That's, he did. You're up.
Well, if we're,
Where are they current?
They're in that, closet that we opened up the door to, that you guys wanna knock the wall out of.
In Luis's
in
office?
Louise's office.
Okay.
I mean, we just need to find a closet to keep them things. And, I mean, as far as who maintains and looks after them, I mean, you already had the custodial staff working with Louise to maintain the visual, you know, appearance of the flag. If it starts to get tattered, replace it. I mean, they don't immediately replace it because they aren't free. But Louise has always bought them. We could still ask her to purchase them through her facility, through the VA, you know, on the VA catalog. I think that's where she's ordering them from.
Yeah, I think she's just looking for a place to store them, right? I'm sure she'll still take charge of.
I don't know. She's not gonna be in this building.
Yeah, but I'm,
I
And it's
wouldn't be
still
surprised
for,
if she would still buzz over here and make
You
sure
might
it's
wanna
done.
have a conversation with her.
I will.
Speak for her.
Yeah.
I thought she'd be up. Well, we're not doing.
we're not, we actually got it on the agenda.
You
So
can go back to.
I'd like to make one more comment if I might have, Madam
Yes, you
Chair.
can.
We've had a rather magnificent year with our 125ths. And Slutwig sent us out with a bang. I thought even starting out with the size of Boyer, they started us off with a bang. I mean, we've had some great celebrations in our communities. I mean, gave us a great reason to be proud of Crawford County this year. Still got Tri-City that should be really good, go off into the harvest season and into winter. I mean, we've really done well in that regard this year. Sadly, we probably don't have any 125ths next year. We're gonna run out of communities. Once Manila's next party, they'll have a good one, I'm sure. Probably a few years down the road yet. But it, you know, I mean, that's something to look back and be proud of, you know? I thought we had a really good weekend this weekend, you know?
Dennison's next.
I think Denison's next, 150.
Yeah, 150.
Yeah, Dennison's next. I had this conversation with somebody Friday night.
I wanna see, 4 years or
But
Melvin Tuck.
Wow.
But I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, you know? So,
Casey,
something that I thought
Melvin,
we'll say, thanks for a great job this last week. Kyron, Ricketts and Boyer. We had a lot of fun this year at your different events. So there's a lot of volunteers, put a lot of back-breaking labor into that
Yeah.
stuff, you know, so good job, people. We're proud of you.
I know it's kind
My
of
understanding.
talking about, oh, how we move things around downstairs, but there'd
Upstairs.
be room if Jake does move out of that and moves to the back office or we move
Very far back one.
where he's at, that other storage room or your machines are
Where
in.
you're at now,
Oh,
If
yeah,
we couldn't just move the flags in there.
maybe.
yeah.
So they.
Yeah, because we talked about,
That doesn't get them folded afterwards. That doesn't get them put up again.
Right.
Um,
Discussion with Louise.
Yes.
Louise do that all herself?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, there's something to think about. 'Cause I thought
She won't
she
be
did.
here, won't be in this building.
Now, she don't put trifolds. but
Yeah. See what-
She folds them up
yeah,
like
that'd be a
the
great
VA's
place.
use, or like the Legion Post usually do. Maybe we could
Let me know.
ask for some assistance from them.
Sorry about that. All right,
I'm sure they got a lot of their other stuff they do on our different holidays.
I had a question, the closets that are right down on this key store, is there room in those if we consolidated some, we kind of looked in those, could we possibly take what's in there, and it could be stuff that could be maybe moved around?
Where do the poles go? Where do the poles go?
Down at, Rhodes,
Secondary roads keeps them.
light poles.
Going
Yeah,
out.
they have a special trailer they store them on.
Good.
All right, very good. We were talking about the
Yep.
courthouse flags, what we're gonna do with them after Louise moves to her new location, so.
Yeah.
We skipped around a little bit. All right,
There you go.
I'm not on there.
all right,
So,
sounds good.
the E16 project, all the concrete's done, they'll start backfilling today. So they do what's called a flooded backfill on the paved roads. And you can use it on some of the gravels too, but when you build a culvert, you're replacing this void where there was once a bridge. And so you load that all up and you have to try to minimize what we call differential settlement. So a lot of times when you put a box culvert on a paved road, a year later, you get this little, and so we're trying to do whatever we can to mitigate that. So it's what they call a flooded backfill, which is basically sand, and then you saturate the sand, hit it with a plate compactor, and it makes it really dense. So the theory is that the sand kind of creates this buoyant force in the water creates this buoyant force in the sand, and so you hit it with vibration, and then there's tile line at the bottom that takes the water out and then it consolidates. So if you ever see water on a beach, comes up into the sand and it goes down that sand really hard. That's the same principle basically. So that should help mitigate some of that. This one's got about 11 feet of fill on top of that. So we gotta make sure we do everything we can to try to not have that happen. But that's what'll be going on there. And
Do you have any idea how long that'll all till?
Gene, if everybody shows up and does what they're supposed to do, in about 3 or 4 weeks, we could have that done. But I tell people,
First November.
they work every day. They continue to work on it. We'll get it open as soon as we can.
What do they do on a day like this where it's getting rain intermittent? They're able to still do some? I see
Yeah,
vehicles
it
in
just didn't
now.
rain much, they're now the concrete's done, so they're cleaning up, they're getting rid of all the chunk and everything, and so we've been cleaning up yesterday and today. Okay, so, and start backfilling.
Oh, we ain't got any complaints about that one yet, at least I.
So, yeah. I'm not sure, so. And 59's open.
Yes, that was a hallelujah for sure.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that one caused a phone call.
Yeah. The E Avenue, working on that grade. So, that's been going really well. I'll be up there. We're gonna go over on F Avenue, try to work on a snow borrow project. After that, try to stay out of everybody's way if we can as harvest starts. And same thing with bridge crew. They're gonna finish up the patching. We're gonna start taking that bridge out west of Ricketts, just north of G Avenue. It's plank are really bad. There's just no point in going in and putting new plank on it. We got the structural plate sitting here. It's just gonna be our last project for the year.
I had, the farmer reached out, wanted to know when, he said, no way. Might have to build him a temporary driveway.
Yeah,
He says that's the only way
To the
he
south.
has in and out of there.
To the-
He said, I'm not going across that current bridge with any of his equipment, and I went
Yeah.
across it the other day with the side by, Friday.
Mhm.
I seen Paul up there helping wrench on a tractor on the grade crew. And, yeah, when you got plywood and plenty of holes on the bridge, it's time to get things fixed up, so.
Yeah, and we just kind of did that as an interim measure. I knew it was coming out.
Yeah,
But it, yeah, it was time to go.
yeah,
So that one's closed. Now,
okay,
they're moving in.
Perfect.
We're gonna start tearing it out as they're doing the patching.
all right, I'll just let him know that he'll provide whatever driveway space.
Yeah, there's a driveway to the south. We'll make sure you can get in and out of this field.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, perfect.
that'd be nice when it's done. Be structural plate and there won't be any bridge there. So that'd be good. So that's what the bridge crew's doing. Great crew, roadside seeding and mowing. Verdine had a incident this morning. He was mowing north on L50, out of Charter Oak Ricketts area there, and semi passed him and it just blew the front windshield out of the tractor. So, he said he didn't hear anything hit it. He said the whole thing just.
He's all right.
He's okay. Yeah. Shattered it. He said it just. He said he didn't. He thought it was just the gust of the semi, you know, the pressure differential that just. caused it
Jeepers,
to-
climbing that way.
Yeah, he's fine. He's
Scared.
not gonna stop working. But the tractor's sitting until we get a new windshield.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah. Yeah,
All of a sudden.
it's been interesting, yeah. So, but yeah, they're seeding, mowing will continue to seed until, just the wind, end of the month. We'll see what weather brings as far as continuing past that. And then we're mowing all the roads now, preparation for winter. So, and then I have this, inloader, I think I talked to you about that, you know, putting this in and trying to get one, and they've got one. So we could get it here, get it suited up, have it ready for winter. So, and our new trucks, that we ordered August of last year are supposed to be delivered October 11th to Des Moines. So hopefully we'll get them, yeah, they go to Houseby, they'll do their pre-delivery inspection, deliver them to Hawkeye, we'll get working on that, so hopefully, maybe that'd be a nice Christmas present, 2 new trucks rolling into the shop, but no, yeah, we're Christmas lunch, and that's where they're at, so.
This is brand new wheel loader.
Mhm. This will go to Denison, the one in Denison that we have that currently is the same model, they're twin sisters, will go up to Schleswig. And we just have to we don't put a lot of hours on these, but you have to keep them current. And they're starting to get some age on them. So that old 11, which is 1983 Cat inloader's gonna go.
And put that on like the auction.
That'll be on the auction
Machinery
down
auction,
here. Yeah, yeah.
Pretty good loader though, I mean, for what it's been used for.
Yeah, you just gotta air the tires
40
up,
years.
charge the batteries and.
Well, when I was at Secondary Roads, they bought a new 11, which was a used loader, but but then the old 11 was so nice that you just leave it set in a pile, so it's stuck around in the fleet, so.
Yeah.
You know,
Been here for
it's
quite a
nice,
while.
you didn't have to chase down a loader when you needed a truckload of gravel.
Yeah, and it wasn't worth a whole lot, so.
And I think at one time during the old blizzard, I think it was, every loader was being used, so even.
Yeah.
Paul, you does a great job trying to manage equipment, so like you said, you gotta keep up on it, otherwise you end up.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to
All right.
approve item number 4 for the purchase of a new wheel loader.
Alrighty, in the amount of $293,243.35.
Second?
All right, any further discussion on the purchase? Russ, I'll call the motion, all in favor, aye.
Alright.
Opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye, motion has been approved.
I've got a 10:30 call with FEMA. This is the April storm that went through that we submitted, we applied for about $86,000 in damage reimbursement. And I talked to the guy because I told him 10:30, sent down him emails at 10 o'clock. So I called him this morning and said, where are we at, you know? And he said, well, this would be the first of many calls.
Oh,
You know, and so I'm not sure where we'll land with it, but we were approved, so I gotta get an account set up for FEMA revenue.
Yeah, Michelle's working on
I
it.
mean, all the work's done. This should be a slam dunk. I've got a 30-some page document just on the guidelines for the exploratory call that we're having this morning.
oh my
A
goodness.
7-page document that I gotta fill out that is about your pre-approval, you know, It's just, okay, we had some gravel, we had a little bit of tree, and, here's what we did. There's nothing to see.
Yeah, but just make
I'd
it
certainly like you to
difficult.
stay around for as long as you can for the next item on the agenda.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
So anyhow, that's at 10:30.
All right, well,
So if I have to
yeah.
leave, that's where I'm
All right,
going.
well,
So we'll see what happens
Get this
with that.
discussion on
Okay.
the bridge. All right, next item, I can see we have our folks from Vale. Thank you for coming. We need to discuss the bridge. I believe we've all been out there to take a look at it. I've got pictures back. This bridge has been on discussion for approximately 5 years, or am I exaggerating?
Oh, you might be cutting it short a little bit.
Okay, all right. So the city of Vale, I did go over to City Hall and kind of discussed a little bit what, what they've done so far and where they're at. And they've spent, do you have the number on that money? Okay,
It's, 27,586.
okay, we know it's real close to 30,000. And for that, what exactly has been done in the preparation for this $1.5 million grant that you guys have been awarded?
Paul can maybe explain what has to be done. What we did originally when this started, the engineering company, I can't remember. They,
Ellenberg.
they gave us an original estimate of between 500,000 and 700,000 to do this bridge.
Okay,
So we entertained the idea of moving forward with that. Well, pretty soon the bridge went from 500,000 to 700,000 to 1.1 million, and now we're up at more than that. And originally, our cost was supposed to be the 5 to 7% of the total. Which right now, with what they've estimated, to finish the bridge, along with what we've spent, it'll be almost 200,000 on our part. And that's to get a new concrete bridge. And as you've seen, Paul has given us an estimate for a used bridge, I guess is what you want to call it. And I don't remember that total for sure, 157 or something like that, is it, Paul?
That's what we had on the one that we did a little bit west side.
Yeah. So we're in that 160,000, so. That's kind of where we're sitting. We got the bridge closed right now, has been for 3 years. 3 years. 3 years, something like that, yeah, or 4, 3 or 4.
yeah, the path from your place to the bridge, it looks like,
So we're in the
Worse than a level B.
yeah, worse than a level B, yes, yes.
councils in the decision stages now as well.
Correct. That bridge actually sits in this incorporated city limits of Vale. So it is, part of the reason that it's a difficult decision on the county's part, because we traditionally don't take care of things inside of city limits. That's part of the issue. But there are some options, depending on what this board, wants to do as far as possibly assisting. The question is, the dollar amount and how the county would be made whole on that. Paul, do you want to kind of update on what we talked about? You're still at that, you think we can bring in that used bridge and get it done for around 150,000? That
We just did one, it's in the ballpark.
ballpark.
It's going to be wildly different than that. It's very similar, say,
Yes, time's up.
For what this bridge would be doing, 1.5 million, whether it's tax dollars of Crawford solely or federal dollars, that's a little hard for me to swallow. Kind of irresponsible for us to sit here and scream, save, cut, and then watch something that's, I'm not trying to undervalue your roadway, but $1.5 million for a bridge that's not gonna be overly used, it's really that hard to take. I'm certain that that bridge we did over by West Side would adequately serve the people that live over. And then the other people that would be using that road as a cut.
Right.
It'd be a sturdy bridge, You know, it's gonna have all the right footings and all the stuff that needs to be done. Obviously, our bridge crew is as competent and capable of any crew in the country, so I mean, it'd be built right. $160,000 it's gonna cost what you already got, plus your 10% match, or whatever percent match that you'd have to do on the $1.5 million bridge, if the bridge is to be built. That's the city of Vale's determination, but I've had some discussions with Paul, plus I've done some thinking about it. And, Vale inherited this chunk of real estate as city property, and I'm guessing it was because of the brewery that once existed out there, as I brought up already. Made sense at the time. Right now it's kind of, you inherited all that ground as a burden. But, it is infrastructure that probably serves the county beyond, you know, you guys are on the county, across the street isn't, but it still serves county use. But it's the city's responsibility, and they have made tax money off it for decades and decades and decades. I would be, and this is just a number to start with, you guys got all the way in, but if we, covered the cost beyond 100,000, and then the 100,000 of it would be the city of Vale, and they can pay that back in a 5-year agreement per se, which would be $20,000 a year. I mean, if you guys think that that's not enough or too much,
And we'd have our bridge crew come in and.
and our bridge crew would put it in. I mean, that's what would be our share of the cost, basically. Wouldn't that cover that? Pretty much our cost would be about that 50 to 60. So basically, we'd be getting our money back for the bridge that we spent buying the bridge, and we'd get probably comped for the footings and the stuff, the structural. That would be my suspicion. I mean, we probably would be some labor, you know, because labor is always an expensive cost, but it's like I said, it will still serve county people. So that would be a way to go. Everybody's got skin in the game. We would ask to help resume for the county's perspective. If you could, work with us on the donation of the ground that you talked about for the easements, for redoing the bridge that we are responsible to do. And basically then that part of that cost that, you know, you wouldn't be reimbursed for could go to the county to help facilitate this cost. You see what I'm getting at? Does that make sense?
That half acre, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Right away to make the turn go semi.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree, yeah.
Is that the right of way off the highway?
Yeah, well, off the black, M55.
Off M55, yeah.
Yeah, they want right away, because the bridge is gonna be what, all 15 foot,
What's that?
like longer, you say?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, and then that was the other thing I talked about, was like to get some fill dirt, because we're gonna need some fill dirt for that. And I don't know when would we be able to work on all that? When will we do that bridge?
Well, the new bridge is scheduled for January 11th.
Yeah,
On M55.
yeah,
Yeah, we've taken any roadway realignment out of that. Because as Danny pointed out, if the other bridge doesn't get replaced, all they really need there is a field driveway.
exactly.
And so, you know, we just kind of let it go until a decision was made. If this bridge doesn't get replaced, meaning the city bridge, that becomes a field driveway. If the bridge does get replaced, he's willing to donate the land, but it'd also be nice to have some dirt somewhere close that we can get to build it with.
yeah, where you take dirt.
Yeah, we'd have to borrow off the knob somewhere, take the topsoil off, get dirt, all of that. So we're gonna have to probably haul dirt in somewhere.
And so that's all river about there, so you don't.
That's what I mean, we'd have to get in from the knob somewhere, and wondering if you had a spot that would work for that.
Across the river, the city has a big pile of dirt.
Have some pretty much. Yeah, it's big.
We're just trying to reduce our cost.
I realize.
We're trying to be fair to all the citizens.
City hauled a bunch of dirt in there for lagoons.
Well, we dug it out of the lagoon.
Yeah, get out of those lagoons.
Yeah, but that probably wouldn't be suitable.
Yeah, that would be my guess, but
I would know.
you have an idea how many loads, how
I
much
don't
you're,
right off the top of my head.
you know, you-
Not a lot, but it's just, if we wanna build a good road, it's nice if we could get some close.
But you got ditches you can take out, yeah, there's a bunch of ditches.
Oh, where are they going?
But I don't know if that's suitable either.
Yeah, well, you know, it's, better you get dirt, the better it is for the road, you're right. Yes.
Right, I realize
Yeah.
that now, so I don't know if I got my.
City center. Where's the city center dirt?
Oh, like,
The city center dirt that they're taking off that hill, cities, this, the
Wellness.
wellness center, that dirt.
Oh, yeah, we don't want all that.
No, we don't, and we wanna minimize our expense bringing it
Hill
in.
doesn't seem that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a question, I mean, trying to put this all in perspective and make sure tax dollars. When Bridger gets that concrete bridge money, 1.5 million, and your cost was, 10%.
Well, our costs ended up at almost, with what we've spent, ended up at almost 200,000.
If you go with that bridge.
So the 1.5 million can only be used for construction. So there's sufficient money there apparently according to the estimate at this point. None of that money can be used for engineering, administration, geotechnical, any of that. So the 200,000 is the development and construction, if you want, contract administration of that project.
Okay, well, I'm trying to figure it, because if you already spent 27,000 towards that bridge, and if we come to the county side, then that money just gone. That 27,000 we spent toward the development of that concrete bridge, that's just gone.
I don't know if that, any of that assists Paul when they put this other bridge in or not. I know that Paul's got, you got surveying time or something in there now, too, don't you?
Yeah, we did the survey,
Yeah.
which was probably a $7,000 to $10,000. You know, if they had a hire consultant to do it, we did all the survey work for that bridge, for the city of Vail, for the,
For
yeah,
that concrete.
yes.
Well, I was just trying to do some math to that, well, if your cost is only gonna be 10%, then you took that 27 off there, then you're down to 100 and whatever, 22,000, so it might be smarter taxpayer dollars for Vail's concerned, but to go with that concrete bridge, but no, not that 200, I was just trying to
Yeah.
put everything in perspective, so. I mean, I know you proposed at one time that we would do the bridge, and I forget, that was probably 5 years ago. Cause we were just gonna drop sections of that bridge off on that road when we hauled it back.
Yeah, that was in 2021,
Yeah.
2021.
4 years ago.
I mean, I don't know what we had come to terms on at that time, but I would say it'd still be open.
I think it was a graduated payback,
Yeah.
just like what I'm proposing.
I think that's
where
what
I
we-
got the idea from.
We've done with other small communities on bigger projects, and we just set up a payback system and.
Works great. Jeff, something, didn't he?
Yes, first you better ask the mayor if, they're gonna spend 100,000. If they have 100,000, 20,000 a year.
Well, that, you know, of course, isn't my decision. We've discussed it, I think, you know, originally, our limit was set at about 70,000 is what we're, and that would be above this. Because that was kind of the limit where we were at originally, that was the original number. From when we started talking with the engineering firm as to what our share of 500,000 or 600,000 was gonna be, and that's what got this thing going forward, and then we went from that to, you know, $200,000+, whatever it ends up at. So that's why everything came to us hauled, and we had to spend this almost 28,000 just to get an estimate. You know, I asked for estimates for the last year as to what this total cost was being. I could never get them to answer anything. They said, well, we've got, you know, all of this work to do before we can give you an estimate, and that's where we ended up with 28,000. So, you know, as far as what our plans are with that bridge right now, you know, I don't have if we have you know, I would go forward with whatever you guys decide and present it to the council, and that's their decision at that point.
well, mine, and I think that's what Ty laid out for you. You know, if you guys decided you wanted to go ahead with 100,000 over a period of time, you know, it's kind of in the balls in your court to decide that.
Yeah,
So you
Well-
planned on 100,000 maybe to contribute, but then you went ahead and spent 28 of the,
Well, we only planned on spending 70,000 originally because we were looking at that 5 to 7,000. So that's where that 7,000 number came in at. And we didn't realize, nobody informed us it was gonna take us 28,000 just to get to that point, to find out what it was actually gonna cost us. I think there again, since it's under the federal project, I think, everything gets boosted cost wise.
Unbelievable. Jenny has a comment.
Would the city think about annexing us out of the city limits?
Well, that was gonna be my comments to the board is, whatever we decide with this bridge at some point, we don't have the equipment to maintain the road. We don't have, anything for maintaining the bridge. We would look at maybe turning that over to the county at that point, the land and everything, the tax dollars, whatever it is.
well, it was maintained by the county up until 5 years ago.
when the bridge got closed.
No, the bridge was maintained by the county 25 years, or 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when they built the last bridge in. County put it in. Then, what, 10 years ago, the county turned it over to the city, saying it's a city bridge? It wasn't when Monty was not mayor.
Yeah, I mean, back in 2004.
Is that what it was?
Back in 2004, the legislature made a definitive designation between, what's, farm market extensions within the cities. This is a farm market extension. In the city of Vale, that's ours. And we take care of that, but we have an agreement with the city of Vale. They take care of a certain amount of cities and we give them a certain portion of that back. But that's kind of when, the decision was, okay, well, we have to draw the line in the sand because the cities that are 700 get all their tax dollars, and it's not fair to take care of those communities, roads, like we're doing for the ones that, the city of Vale, for instance, that we get their money. And so we kind of drew the line in the sand, but as far as that bridge, since I've been engineer, which is in 2000, we've taken care of minor maintenance on it. We've taken care of replacing a plank, just whatever it is minor to take care of it. We've continued to blade the road. The city of Vale pays for any aggregate, which hasn't been much, because it doesn't get a lot of traffic on it, but we blade it periodically. So that's kind of what's happened during my tenure and what's perhaps changed. And so, moving forward, it kind of becomes the board's call on, what you do. I will say that, the city of Buck Grove, we worked with them on a project, a bridge in their town. They participated, and we did some participation in that. So there's somewhat of a precedent in helping the communities out, but we don't take care of all of it. And so, I think that's kind of where you're coming from, Tom.
Well, and by spreading it out over, and 5 years is a number I threw out there. I mean, if the board thinks that we could go more or less or whatever, and that would work better with the council, I'm easy to get along with. I just, we gotta be fair to all the taxpayers, but to help our communities that are a little less affluent, to me, we're one big family. That's how I operate in my mindset. So finding ways to make stuff work for our community is important, I think, so.
So is our next step to put it back, in the city of Vale, and you take the proposal back that we would do 100,000 and possibly start it out over 6 to 7 years to make that payback amount?
That would, to me, would be the next step to keep this material forward.
How often when is your next council meeting?
Second Monday in October.
Okay.
We could always have another meeting if it was, there's real no hurry. It won't happen this year. It might not even happen next year.
What time are your meetings?
No, it's not, they're playing.
Yeah, what time are the meetings? What time? 7?
Well,
Our crew could be available, we know far enough in advance. We're working on programming projects for next year right now. If this all gets approved and everybody's happy with it, we'll try to work it in next year and do it.
So I really need to know what the city council wants to do.
Yeah.
And that way we don't just keep kicking it down the road.
And I would suggest a couple of us, if Paul could make it too, so that as they're having that discussion, we could fill in the blanks so we don't keep kicking the can down the road, and you guys have a discussion, you do come back to us. I'd like some of us to be able to
How
attend.
do
that
we
meeting.
feel about the future? If this was to happen, how do we feel about the future maintenance? Basically going back to our old agreement where we blade, they pay for aggregate and then we maintain.
Sounds like, I mean, what Monty said is that they deed that to us, so it would be our
Or
responsibility.
they didn't wanna deed it for us to do that going forward after this? Is that what you're saying?
That's my
That
understanding.
would be, I think the council's thought on that.
But they would help pay, they would do their share of the bridge. Since that, okay.
That's what that is, you know, bridge maintenance, that would be on you guys.
After the-
From here on out.
Yeah.
Okay,
The thing I would add about,
thank you for that.
not to say that some crazy thing could happen, there will be no timber on this deck.
Yeah, there'll be no
It's a
timber.
steel structure, all steel except for the back walls, which are timber.
Just be inspect and repair any,
Very.
You see it lasting.
A long time.
Longer than.
as long as our farmers don't abuse it, it'll last.
Well, that's what it is.
All of our lifetime.
95,000.
Well, yeah, 96,000
$96,000.
semi with 7 axles.
7 axles.
Not a green.
Not a green car, 7 axles.
So they have two
Are you
options.
available that night, possibly
Right, October, when is it?
October the
To spend
2nd at
100,000
7 PM?
Over a time period.
I said the second
Yeah.
Monday.
Second
Or-
Monday.
Second Monday, excuse
And
me,
it's
Paul.
about sitting on $1.
And that actually, and then we'll take care of it from that point forward, once it's built.
But if they'd annexed this out before you did the bridge, you paid for the bridge altogether.
Oh, no,
We're not going there.
we're not going that. That's not,
That's not in it.
yeah, we figured out the amount of taxes that'll actually pay for the maintenance of of the road. But the taxes, there's not enough tax there to
For you to,
offset all that
Well, we get-
cost that's been neglected on past year. What's that?
The last year, if they get annexed out, you probably build the bridge.
Yeah, that was before I actually did any numbers.
Okay, well, then that's what I was going back to, that's the last meeting.
Kyle has a question.
yeah, are you the only property owner that'd be affected by that?
On that,
If the city annexed that out, or,
yeah, oh, well, I have 3 siblings and all those 5
okay,
acres.
cause you're, I'm not no tax, but I think your property taxes will go up. Cause it's
Speaking of
city,
the city,
ag is considerably, is it less than rural ag?
no, I don't know off the top of my head,
Just-
probably.
just- I'm letting you know, it could possibly be an increase of some sort.
Be different levies.
That's why I said, if you're the only one in, of that
Well, the
conversation
siblings only know, there's
that
4
has
of them.
been had, that I think it would be rightful to let everybody know that if that happens, it could go up.
Monty, I mean, I think that's a fair proposal, though. I mean, you spread that 100,000 out over 6 or 7 years for you, then then if you annex it back or whatever, we maintain it, that road after that.
Well, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Everybody's
is
got skin in
October
the game.
At 7 PM, so I think that will
We're
leave.
trying to be fair,
Yeah.
figure out a amicable way to
Oh,
go
we
forward.
appreciate the help.
We had to start here to start the conversation. I think we have a proposal to take back to the city of Vale, and I think, Paul, if you can attend at 7 PM on October the 8th. I think that a few of us could come to help fill in some blanks. Suzie, you be okay with that as far as?
I have 2 of us.
2 of us. So, all right,
I can't.
put us on
Hey,
your
Monty.
agenda.
I kept getting a return on your emails. I don't know why.
City.
Well, I was sending them straight to you. Yeah.
Of October
your
is the
email.
first
We got an
Tuesday is the
EMA
first.
meeting tonight. Did the mayor get a hold of you? I had a few mayors.
Monday.
Monday. I had Tuesday, because ours are
6
Tuesday.
o'clock tonight, we have an EMA meeting. If you
Monday
can.
was 7.
We changed.
Everybody get the right date, so we're all there at the right time. It's the
First
14th.
I had your name spelled wrong and now I got it spelled right, but it still kicked it back.
I was in the right month,
I
I
didn't want
was
you to
on the
think I
wrong
forgot about
day,
you.
so
usually get it on my phone.
Lot-
I can see if I miss it.
Paul is the 14th.
But it's tonight at
Thank
6.
you.
Down in the conference.
7 PM.
7 PM.
Yeah.
All right, put us on your agenda.
Yep.
So that we can possibly have a discussion, take action, so that we're done kicking it down the road and we can, have this, all settled and we know what we're gonna do going forward. So,
Sounds good.
good conversation. Thank you everyone
Yeah,
for
thanks.
coming.
Thanks for making everybody happy.
Working on it, sometimes it's hard, but it just takes everybody getting together
And we
and,
will donate that, right?
all right. Got it. Duly noted. Our
Like
auditor.
any part of that, you gotta be weed commissioner too.
Hey,
Gotta throw that in.
let's keep making the deal.
I love that.
Thank you for coming. All right, thank you all.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with your vote.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're gonna be on time for that,
I'm
so
sorry I interrupted there, but I wanted to catch my.
you're fine, you're fine, absolutely. You're on
Yeah,
time.
leave it open,
Yeah.
Lonnie, leave it open.
Our next discussion, take action is,
Just before I guess we do that, I just wanna thank Ty, I just wanna thank you for put some thought behind what your proposal was, cause I mean, I think we're being fair with everybody, and I hadn't thought about that, so I certainly appreciate the fact that you brought that out, at least put it out in the
I
public.
wasn't by myself.
Put it out in the public so we could all, rationalize and they could think about it, and because I agree with you, driving out there to that bridge off of the gravel road on M55, and you're like,
Why?
would you spend 1.5 million to access that road?
Yep.
That you can't even beat two vehicles on?
Yeah.
Does that really make any sense?
Yeah.
we kind
And
of
I was in your boat,
Yeah.
I was right with
It's-
you on that.
It's a cutoff in a farm
got it out there
Right.
early too,
for the
so
most part, you know.
So,
good discussion.
That was my theory.
thanks.
Whether it was
Good job.
federal dollars or our dollars, I thought it was China.
Tax dollar.
Government
tax.
actually
I
making
mean,
common
I
sense.
like it to come to Crawford County, mind you, but
So unusual, so unusual.
it's hard
All
to
right.
scream at them, they spend too much, and then ask them to spend some on that.
All right, we have another discussion, take action at the courthouse second floor HVAC update proposal. So that was in.
It was in the folder.
Yes. Yeah.
$70,275. So it's rooftop units on the courthouse, but they provide, HVAC to the second floor. It's two 2-ton split systems. That one's for the county attorney's office and the juvenile courts area over in the, northwest corner. And then 3 4-ton systems, that's for the auditor, supervisor's offices, recorder, and treasurer's offices. So we're having,
So I'm not, I guess, familiar enough with, what does that mean by a 2-ton system? and a 4-ton
that is a good
system?
question, I don't know that.
Ton is a way that of measuring,
So does that mean
Space
that
that
one is
required-
twice as big as the other one? of a
I would
2-ton versus a
assume so,
4-ton?
yes.
Makes sense.
Well, it's providing AC to half of the number of offices than the 4-ton.
Right, remember right,
Two 2-tons, 3 4-tons. So it's not half,
I
but
got a 1-ton unit for the IT room. Ordered,
okay.
and that was almost half of what this has cost, cause it had that special
Special display unit.
negative 40 degrees stuff in there, so you put that in perspective,
That's a good deal.
that's a hell of a deal.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
That is.
I mean, this is gonna require a budget amendment, just so you're aware of that. We've had multiple issues.
Is that
with
out of
our
our courthouse
AC.
account?
It might be, capital,
Capital, that's
actually.
what I meant, yeah.
There
Yeah,
was a 10-year guarantee, I think. when it was-
yeah,
10-year
10-year
warranty.
for the compressor warranty, which is good. And that includes the voltage, electrical, for the indoor and outdoor units. It sounds turnkey to me.
And it will run more efficiently.
Yeah, it should save us utility dollars that way.
And repair.
Cause it's much newer than the old.
All right.
And it'll get me through retirement, so let's do it.
I feel like we have made it a priority.
You're not retiring for 50 years?
Yeah, no,
Good
10-year
job, Gene.
compressor warranty. I'll get through the compressor warranty. No, I won't. Sorry.
Okey dokey. Well, we have a proposal on the table. You want to make a motion or any more discussion?
We've made it a
Thanks.
priority to continue to keep
Exactly.
our courthouse up to date and running and
We've got
working.
employees, we've got the public.
Correct.
How much was the cost again?
$70,275.
70.
Yeah.
270 for that.
I've got them working on another proposal, Louise's office, AC. Yep, about on its last leg.
That's just a mini split.
It's
That's
a
a
mini
mini.
split, and then Paul has two that were here when he started as engineer and are still here. Yeah, and we've had a few issues with those, so I do have, them preparing a proposal for replacement of those units also.
I would think they were terribly inefficient in their
Yes.
operation, being 25 years old.
20 years old. yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
very old.
I know it's a lot of money, but yet you look at those other counties that had to build a new courthouse
Yeah.
because they didn't keep anything up as they
Yeah.
went along.
Right.
All of a sudden are spending 30-40 million on a building.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
that's a lot scarier, isn't it?
Yeah.
so I think
love-
we've been very diligent about keeping things up and keeping our courthouse going.
It's about a fourth of that machine Paul got.
Well, if you put it that way.
Dang it. I hate when you make sense.
Yeah, I make a motion to accept the proposal from Carroll Control for the second floor HVAC update.
Second.
All right, any further discussion on the motion in a second? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye.
Thank you
motion
very
has been-
much.
Oh, yeah,
It'll be good to have you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't- Here alone.
Days, we spent a lot of night.
All right, so we have started discussing a little bit about we'll go to the discussion for the current office space. I saw Louise and I thought about the flags, but we're discussing to take action on the current VA office space after transition.
Still about her.
Yep, yeah, I thought you were here for the flags. We all took a tour last week and, we do have some space down there that we can config for the different uses. So today would be our day that we kind of hopefully can identify where we want everybody to go and what's all involved in making that happen. You know, I kind of want to take the path of least resistance and move the least amount of people as I can. You know, completely want to upset the apple cart is kind of, as I thought about it. So here we go with some drawings. So
He draws.
you take your time, because we got one taking a long time to break. So
I'm gonna take one with them.
let's see if we recognize. Okay. We're officially in a break for anybody that wants to take one. There we go. Kyle, you don't get one to volunteer to draw. All right. But so far, I'm following what you're doing. You're doing excellent. Can you put dimensions on there for us?
There's all kinds of doors back there. You got a vault too.
yeah, there's a lot of room back there.
Yeah.
And we got the.
Right, we're missing the closet.
Oh, you're making Jake feel bad now.
Takes some jury duty or he.
There's two closets over there.
Little bitty closet where.
That is,
Elections.
that is our election, which we have vowed to keep safe. And you know, we're in a break, but I can still talk. Everybody take a break?
These are the colors you want.
If you're just thinking out loud, that's fine with me.
How long are we gonna be here? Maybe I should take
There
a
were too
break.
many days of white, so I brought them all back and the girls decided on gray.
Alright, what solves that?
There you go.
Yeah,
What's good with the blue?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I-
Yellow, white, green, white, blue, white.
I know.
Sorry, I missed the damn
Lavender
ball party.
white. It was good.
I sent better help anyway.
You did.
You did great.
You did. She just keeps her head down and works. We had Deb Landgraf. I was in between those two, and Natalie doesn't say a whole lot. Deb doesn't shoot every single soul that came through.
She knows them all.
And if she doesn't, she wants to know who they are and,
And there's not a bashful bone in her body.
Not one.
not one. Yeah, she was a comedy act. It was the time went by very, very, very fast. It was so windy that day that my original job was just to hold down the plates. And then eventually they made me put stuff on them. I was like, okay, it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
We
so.
got we had a little momentum come in. So yesterday I sent a check to Brushy Creek for $4,458, which is about what we sent last year, so
Yeah.
I was happy with that.
I was proud of my money counters that we did it in our head, cause, I took it up to the bank and and they were $10 off. I said, we can't be. And she looked in her counter and there was that $10 still in the counter. So had I not kind of been pretty adamant that I was pretty confident in my people, not my people, but the.
Yeah, your process.
If I, because,
Put her
you know.
chairman of the board, now everybody is her people.
No, no, no. It was my counting,
I-
volunteer,
They
yeah.
had it all listed out, it was signed, it was very professional.
Yeah, we,
No bank VP, you know, she knows how to
we
count
did
money.
kind of have it
Bring it
boxed
in.
up pretty good, so.
Well, Craig and Terry didn't show up this year, so.
I agreed we were the second string, but,
You did a great
I
job.
loved who I was working with. They were,
Yes.
spot
And I was
on.
more happy, I was happy I found my bank bag yesterday in the mess of my office, so I could go and finish it up yesterday.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, so.
I lost my bank bag.
Oh.
It was behind my snacks in the cabinet. When you look for food, you find other things.
Yeah, not at my house, but, all right. So as soon as our drawer comes back from his break, I didn't take one because I assumed that what's on here is not gonna take that much longer and I won't need one. So we got.
Never sign the front of that, would you?
You'll take care of it.
I already signed
Yeah,
all
we'll
this
just-
stuff.
Cool special
It won't be
election.
enough room.
I know,
I thought I did
sign
that.
You'll make it. Say again?
Didn't I do something for the special election
Well, who added
canvas
this drawing?
the other day?
Nope.
Somebody came in here and I counted stuff.
Oh, that was the absentee board.
Absentee. Never mind.
Yep,
I knew I did something.
Did you sign?
absentee tally.
That's your mission?
We're all back, huh?
We're back.
That's like it's.
All right, all right,
Good sign.
all right.
So we got Jake's little bit of office and we're kind of like, oh, it's the word.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
Yeah, we
He's
thought
spot
so.
on.
I should put not the scale on here.
Okay, all right, all right.
I know, I think Dave didn't think you drew it in at all, so he drew the conference room in Jake's office and
Oh,
that's what the big ones are.
I wondered. Okay.
I thought you drew.
Terry,
it.
you knew what I was drawing.
I did, I knew exactly what, I thought, why didn't he finish that drawing?
Kyle did.
The sound of the break thing was enough to
Kyle did.
trigger you.
All right,
All
We
right.
had a good laugh at your expense while you were gone.
I'm sure you did, I'm
anyhow,
sure you did.
it's
Anywho,
gonna be we got main problem, elections,
Elections?
yeah,
Jake's office.
yep, that's what this all originally.
That's how it originated, okay?
Yep.
Uh,
But what I liked about our tour is realizing that we have that space across from the drafting room.
this area.
You know, if we ever needed a place for, let's say we did get these 3 jobs to become 1 job and they needed a place to have a desk and a phone, we would have, you know, we're not completely.
Nope.
No, I think
No,
we're
I
gonna
think
fix that
someone's
problem
going
right
there,
there.
aren't they?
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
All right, you go.
I'm thinking,
just throwing this out,
All right.
yeah,
Somebody got
right there in
started.
the room, who's going where? Yep.
elections.
Drafters stay where drafters are at.
And they
Did you talk to
combined all
Paul
their,
about that though?
Yep, well, he
No.
mentioned he would like them up here, but he says he could use the exercise.
Right, but I don't think that plotter printer is gonna,
Fit.
not gonna be able, cause I talked to him one
they
day
had
last
stuff they
year.
could get rid of too, though.
And he said if they're wanting to move the printer into the drafting room, they would be better suited in Louise's office.
Hey,
Which is,
That's what he
I'm
told
fine with
me.
that too.
I'm fine with
And
this.
that's, it doesn't matter to me, either one of them to elections is
So
gonna
switch
be
those.
a huge
First of the
improvement.
A plotter printer.
That, whatever
That
that
big
big
long thing
printer,
that's
that
over
big printer that's in that side office,
Then elections would go back.
yeah.
He might have guys for demolition of them extra rooms in there too.
And then Jake's current office could be cardboard and flags.
Stuff.
I was saying flags here,
The flags don't take a whole lot of room, it's just the way I am.
but
Yeah,
cardboard would
right.
be good
In Jake's current
in
office.
Jake's current office.
Cause it used to be there.
Patty's Richie's old office.
Well, cardboard used to be where Jake is
That first
currently.
one.
Okay,
And it works well because it's not in the public eye.
right.
Basically where his desk sits now, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Away from the windows.
yeah. We put that, one of those tables back there and,
And remember, we can use, National Guard guys that missed their weekend.
And flags and even Jake could probably use that back room if he had
yeah,
extra
yeah,
IT equipment that
Yeah.
needs to be.
yeah, exactly. IT, flag, wagon. Yeah,
All right,
I think that is very doable.
There might be some, maybe Paul wanna rip some walls down, I don't know, but.
yeah,
But
Which that's, I don't think that would be very much. They're
So
not
basically,
load
there's
bearing
what I had in
walls.
mind,
well,
that
that,
back room,
that,
but if the kids
closet,
don't work.
you need to take down.
I
And
could.
like, for some reason, what I pointed out, a unique thing about this room is there's two doors.
So when we get done folding up the flags, or what is it?
You don't need all,
No,
for some
it's a
reason,
wagon.
you can put a
Oh, it's in
wall
your
back
wagon.
there real fast.
I remember the wagon.
Oh, right, right.
Dave could do that.
Good
You have
point, Kyle.
multiple wagons.
Good point.
All right,
Well, I bought the wagon for outreach and then it worked better for flags.
Wonder how
so
much
I
you
kept
use
that one
that
for flags and it
printer.
worked for my outreach. So-
probably not as much as he
So the
used to.
flags can keep that one.
Okay.
That just
You don't wanna
needs-
come fold them?
Is there anybody that
Well,
travels?
here's the thing, you have bad
that currently
shoulders.
stops
I
and
pulled
uses
flags for an
Louise's
hour on
office that
Friday morning and Saturday was a
not
lot
go
of
over
me.
there?
And if I'm not gonna have an office
Or-
here, where am I gonna hold flags?
Is there somebody
We
that
get,
comes here?
public health, you get, I don't know.
You know,
I didn't. That's what we like, sort of
That building
really
over
good.
there is
Right.
public health.
But it's more just, you know, and then they have to have,
Done.
the flags have to be in a place where at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can get to them.
Ella more and they go to the
So, because
courthouse.
nobody else can
jail.
do
If you guys get down and get fist fighting over an arm, Indian arm leg wrestling, I don't care.
to go over there.
You guys let us know where you're at, I'll get
Are
behind
you
you.
still gonna help get them to the guys in the mornings? when
Yeah, I
they're-
don't mind doing that,
I'm not
I just
here to
need help holding
point
them.
fingers,
Sometimes it's
tell you
fallen
what
into
corner or
me all
whatever,
these
but
years, and
want
I'm
everybody to be happy, you
to
gotta-
do it.
I know.
all by myself. Well, when I'm.
We have such
I
limited
can
space,
hold
it's
all
nice
day.
to be able
I
to,
can fold, take a break,
make the
fold,
most
take a
out
break,
of
but
all of
if I
it.
have to be here holding flags
You
and then
know.
get over there.
I do think the drafters would fit in that room better.
yeah,
That's part of it.
And then you'll have enough, that will be enough for you.
We'll have to teach Jake how to.
yeah. Oh, yes, that'll be nice for us. We'll be
That
able to
way-
do everything, elections in there.
And I want it, so then our conference room is no longer gonna be locked out for
Right.
election time and nobody can go through
Right,
or use
right.
it, which that's always.
Exactly.
I think that's huge.
Yeah, that is huge.
That is
That is
huge, because you go and you wanna even talk to Jake, and you can't get
Can't
back
get there, you
there.
gotta go around or whatever.
And I just always, even when you're in the conference room and Jake is in his office, it just seems awkward that he's a
Right.
captive person because he can't get out. So I think that just makes that,
All right,
everybody like. Kyle's-
What do you think about that? What'd you say? I'm sorry, I missed yours. I was discussing the flag
It's okay.
folding.
no, I'm just, like, we got that figured out, let's move on to
That
that.
there.
Yeah.
Yep, right there.
Yep, see the
Well,
flags
let's
are gonna
hit
go back
Louise
there.
while she's here, skip over the canvas while
Right.
Louise is here.
Let's talk
So we
about
get her
flags.
back to work, helping our veterans.
Well,
Then store into the courthouse flags.
Go back there where.
With IT in the back.
Now, there's still a part of folding them because she won't be doing that
Well,
anymore.
and Jake needs to know that, well, I'll have, because when I get here, we put the flags up at 6 now, because during the summer there, which I just really love, by the way, but, so I usually have to open the courthouse. So I'll have a key or somebody to get to the flags in the morning to put them up. So if they're gonna be locked in Jake's room, is he gonna want me to have access, or can he maybe pull them out the night before or something?
It's just in your cart, right?
Huh?
It's just in your wagon, so you
Yeah, it's in
can
my
pull them.
wagon, so if he pulls them
If
out,
he pulls
puts
them
them in
out.
the conference room or something the night before.
Isn't there another door in that space?
Yeah, there's a door right
That you
here.
could
It's to the
just get
back.
right to it, rather
Well,
than,
I mean, we'll come in the courthouse, but the flags are gonna have, if they're locked, because he's gonna probably wanna lock his storage room or whatever he's gonna use
Well,
it for.
we're not
So
sure,
dogs have to be able to get.
that's gonna be
Right.
cardboard.
We're not gonna sure how much of that he's gonna actually
Yeah.
need.
Well, just as long as we have access to the
Just-
flags in the morning.
Right, right.
But then
We can give you
also,
a key to that door.
when we take them down, there's the folding
That's
aspect.
the bigger issue is folding. I need help folding.
What if we just have every department dedicate a person to hurry up and get them folded and put back in the wagon? If each department puts one person towards that, it'll be a 10, 15, 20-minute tops project, and they're back to work.
Yeah, because
What
Donna
time
and I
do you
used to do it together. Now it's me, and it takes about an hour and 15 minutes, but
By yourself.
I can get them done before the phone starts ringing and people coming in. Sometimes it's an all-day event.
But if you had some brownies, you could really entice
Well, I
Jack
make
to
cake for
stay.
I make cake for the guys, every time the flags go up and down, we have cake, but I'm not making 2 cakes for holding.
Louise, the National Guard guys,
Yeah.
so they're always willing to help fill in time. Would they be, or is that wrong hours for them?
I don't know, I can talk to Sergeant Diaz about that, but that's a lot, I mean, the flags go up and down quite a bit in
Quite
the
a bit.
summer. But, and sometimes we don't always know when they're gonna come down, because if it rains, we may take them down a day
Right.
early or leave them up a couple days, so.
Okay.
You know what, another Boy Scouts are always
I mean, we
willing to
can
help
figure
out
it out.
with things, and that would be something.
I'm just glad they'll have a place to be, because I really don't wanna pull my wagon 2 blocks over and
Right.
have a smaller office. I
So
would-
if we've got you to organize it, ways to get you help,
Yeah,
you can do that.
yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
I would volunteer
I'm
the
just tired.
supervisors, but
I'd be there if I was here.
Yeah. Well, when we put
I
it
would
at
do it.
7, we used to have
I
people
would,
come in
I'd
and
do it
help
for
at
the
6 o'clock.
karaoke
That's all.
time.
when those days arise,
Be
if I'm in town and available, I'm up at 5. I'll
You
go
always
nine
roll
to come
back
in
to
and
that,
help.
yes.
But
Well, this week I strategically, we took them down
They
last
were
week on
down
Friday,
six.
we started their 7 o'clock
Yeah.
shift on Friday.
You're not gonna get pulled until
Ah,
Some
staff comes
preservation
in.
on that one, so.
very good,
That's not-
so,
No, I
Get
would be
full
looking
until
myself.
next day.
yeah.
Thanks,
yeah,
Louise.
Thanks,
Thanks,
yeah, we'll be
Louise.
glad to help.
Thanks, Lindsay.
So, all right, so the first thing we need to do is, discussion and take action on the current space. And so I think that we need to, make sure that we have in terms of drawing for our records to show what the motion is, unless it's not very clear, what, how we decided to, how do we want to make that motion?
You want me to draw something on paper so you can stamp it? and then
Yeah.
send it
I
around?
think maybe we should have that.
That makes sense, Scott.
Get a piece out of the copy machine or something. And I'm just gonna write it up. So I'm gonna write drafting to the current VA office, elections,
I mean, we don't
drafting.
suspect that there'll be any, us putting Jake there, any electrical stuff or things that he's gonna have to wire
There
because
might be,
I'm going here versus if I was there, that's already wired.
because he
that's
talked
already
about
done.
last time a 30 amp
Could you
or
drop the
something.
scale?
When we moved him into the closet,
I don't know.
I could see him wanting, I bet he tears that. Whatever cabinets out, puts his computers on the one.
I would.
Bigger space in his dock.
I wonder what kind of a spaceship that'll look like. What, you need a ruler?
I mean, it's gonna cost us some money to make this transition,
Yep.
which is fine.
Love the spaceship. Look like an airplane cockpit.
He doesn't know with it all.
well, it does seem like a lot.
Look at you with a ruler.
Oh, yeah, Bill Herweather, drafting teacher, got real cute. You.
Well, he's drawing that.
Yeah, we missed your
Sure,
calling.
bad.
Oh, I should have been a drafter.
Flag disposal.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
We did that for the
You
kids.
can come back on it,
I
but I
call
think
mine
that
36.
we've done it with
I
the
don't know
least
why.
amount of,
Just the number that popped into my
and
head.
I
I know we're
really
29.
never did like having
I had to go look
copies
it up, though.
tied up.
No, I didn't either, but we didn't really have any
I
choice.
know,
As
so
soon as I
this
said
is
it,
the multi-purpose,
They're all-
and it's just the right time to do it, so.
Because they were just
And everybody
keeping up
that's
everything.
been in the game agrees with that, that's what has to happen, so.
Yeah,
We have a motion on the table.
we do?
I think so.
I don't know. I never heard it.
You get to the 20.
I were waiting till I had this drawn up.
Well, I think we could have the motion be,
I move we approve Kyle Schultz's drawing of,
Second,
current office space, to future office space after the transition of Louise moving.
second.
all right? Any further discussion? We have a drawing on the table and we have it written out of how we're going to move people where the permanent office is gonna be. With no further discussion, I'll call the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to the transition move? Same sign. Chair votes aye. And I hope that this is good. So that,
Should have brought something into discussion. Before we started moving all these people, as we're moving them, we had been talking about doing floors.
working on it.
Are we?
Yep,
Okay.
I am.
You're bringing a proposal before the board?
Eventually, yes.
Well, in this
Never mind.
discussion, well, this will come back around then, you know, what needs to be done for each one of those spaces to make them usable for everybody,
So I
so
mean, it's gonna cost us some money, like.
a little bit.
It's gonna be some cost to it, but
It
it's
is.
cost that ain't been taken care of. I
Right,
mean, the floor-
exactly. I mean, it's
We're
something
probably
that,
the best floor in the county.
and it's a long-term
That
solution
isn't
to,
marble.
you know, to a problem.
And I-
There's places of ours that,
I personally have never felt that the space that Jake is in is adequate for what he needs. It just is so, and to have to go through the conference room every time you wanna talk to him. And so if there's somebody in there having a meeting, which that conference room is used quite a bit.
Yeah.
You have to.
Where he has an office, he's accessible by the public, they can shut the door, they can knock on it.
He will be now.
Right, when
Yeah.
he moves.
Yes.
And we all, and also with our election equipment being in there and someone, you know, having a key, and I just think this is a move that has to kind of happen, so. I think all in all, we're gonna be good, so thank you for the motion, thank you for the drawing, Kyle.
Oh, don't be
Make sure you
thankful,
sign.
don't be thankful yet, I mean, you haven't
You
seen
haven't
it.
seen it, right.
So
Make
after-
sure that you sign that, Kyle, so that
I
in
know.
the future, when they publish board minutes, if you were looking back on it.
Like an
It's
engineering
signed,
seal.
like instantly. or something.
All right, I'll do that.
So we've also taken care of where the flags are gonna be, so that's off the table. So do we wanna canvass the Schleswig School special election at this time, or do we wanna go to the bird bid?
Let's canvas.
All right, let's canvass.
The canvas will be shorter.
We're gonna
than the
canvas,
bird.
guys.
Very few people voted, I saw.
Yes.
cleaned up good, didn't you?
Yes.
Canvass. We love to do those,
Canvas.
especially.
At least it was just like a small election. It won't be like after November. So
Super small. Here is a tally book.
how much does one like this cost though?
Here is a tally book. I don't know yet.
Oh. Cause they always have expense, but we bill these people, correct? If it's
Yeah,
not-
the school will pay for it.
But still, it's another expense. So you don't wanna have these any more frequently than you have to.
Here is the canvas. So,
An election like this too, do they have to do this separate from a general election?
yes,
Yeah, I
generally,
thought- I
they
thought
could have
they
had
were
it
telling
during
me
their
that.
city school election, but
But it
Yeah.
couldn't be like during a general.
Nope.
I thought that, you said that. Okay. Crawford County, September 10th, 2024, election canvas summary, Schleswig
I don't have any.
Community School District,
Sorry.
public measure FJ. You want me to just read off these numbers?
it's your canvas, not mine.
Who's gonna read this off, cause I haven't seen one like that.
Okay, they've got the tally book, so that's what you're canvassing is to the tally.
Okay. So the polls.
Yeah.
I have 23 yes. 13 no.
Okay.
0 under and 0 over, for a total of 36. Who's got that one?
Yep,
And that's all good?
That's good.
Absentee, I have 1 yes. 0 no, 0 under, 0 over, and 1 total.
correct.
Total being 24, 13, 0, 0 equals 37. Ma'am?
Thank
Your
you.
canvas.
Good with my book.
Yep,
Okay,
matches mine.
start signing.
It meets the
please.
approval
I'll
of the
take
Board
the
of
tally books back.
Supervisors.
Thank you very much
So it passed.
for your hard work. I know, I don't know how you do it.
Did you bring water for this?
Sorry, there's coffee if you need some.
I got a little bit.
Thank you, sir, appreciate it.
I'm a 1 cup a day.
I'm a 1 cup a day person too, all 40 ounces.
I heated up, so, oh, you got it. Thank you.
That's not coffee, that's,
I hear ice in your coffee. You have nice coffee?
I'm not drinking much coffee these days.
The next canvas we do will
All right.
take a scant bit longer than.
Thank you, yeah, scamp it. So we need a discussion on the commercial bird, yeah. So $20-some thousand, or $19,000 to, get rid of some birds. Are they still the huge problem?
They are.
They
I
are.
should have asked,
Okay.
I see them
Chief
swooping.
Trejo to come up and talk to you guys.
So nobody likes my idea of dressing a scarecrow and have them up there.
Go right ahead, we're not getting paying any over 19,000.
And I'm not saying that this is the answer, but we just can't let it rest. We gotta keep,
Trying thing.
we gotta find an answer. and
Right.
Deal with
Right.
it.
All
So that's what, all I'm asking.
All right,
The only thing I'd ready to do is it'd be interesting, if they have a guarantee, if we spend 20 grand in Plunkett and they do this thing, we guarantee you that you will not have vultures on that tower. Would
I
be the
know.
question I'd like to know, and for how long, as long as your equipment stays there, and if the equipment can't be damaged, and I can't foresee someone climbing up there to break it or do anything like that. That's what I'd like to know, I mean, 20 grand is a lot of money to spend, but could have fixed the problem forever. You know,
Yeah.
or not necessarily for the foreseeable future, I should say.
Yeah, you don't wanna spend it and, well, we tried, sorry.
Right. I guess that didn't work. Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know?
Don't know if I'd be quite that calm. That's a great point. I'd like to have a little bit more of an assurance that
Wow, Kyle.
they've done this and it's worked.
I mean, maybe, right. Maybe if we can have someone from Plunkett's environment control sector show up one time and we can ask them questions, or if they wanna zoom in, would be fine, cause I think they're
Okay,
separate than the Plunkett local people that are here.
I'll see what,
Environment control people are
we can
different.
get someone for the next meeting.
And I know that those birds are they are a migratory bird, so I mean, they do leave in the winter, do they not, or do they?
I don't know. I don't know. I know they're a morning problem and they're an afternoon problem.
Yeah.
That's what
That's not a-
Chief, Amy and I were talking to him last week.
Cause I mean, we have
I
the
brought it up.
city cops and the sheriff and the public that would go there and park. There was still.
Right. And they're gonna be doing absentee voting down there in October.
Okay. Okay, so now it's public.
Yeah,
Along with-
so we're gonna keep absentee out of here because we expect some large numbers. And they're gonna be voting at the law enforcement
Can
center.
only help with large numbers.
Oh, there won't be all this stuff in here.
No,
Lot to move around every.
because it's a
Tuesday.
pain on Tuesdays
Yep,
to do
and then
that.
Nobody
And
comes.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Eric,
I'm trying
Okay.
to have a person
architect.
come to the courthouse once, get taken care of what they need, and not have to be shuffled around. Or not just that,
No, I know.
or every,
Or have to dodge birds.
yeah, or dodge birds.
Is there a lot of guano on the ground around the tower?
Let's go out there and see. Taking a break,
I mean, we
Tabitha.
saw those pictures that they took of the police cars earlier.
That was plenty for me.
So, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So Kyle, can we see Kyle's drawing and pass that around, or?
you gotta sign it.
Trying to understand.
Oh, okay, that's right.
I
Oh,
know.
we're trying to understand how.
We need to ignore it.
That's a bad sign right
Back
there.
to the drawing board, back to the drawing
I'm a
board.
north-south person. Shh, shh, shh.
You want me to erase them?
No, don't.
Did you do a pencil?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so these, okay, yep,
There's gotta be a hallway in there somewhere,
looks good. There is.
a crooked hallway.
So
That darn sure needs to be fixed, the floor.
on our bird exclusion,
Oh, yes.
are we going to bring it back next week? Is that the wishes? of
Yeah, I'll
the
see if
board?
someone from Plunkett's can.
Okay.
Bird exclusion.
Okay, yeah, so I would make a motion that we, what's the word?
Invite Plunkett to come back, either Zoom or come and
Well, I'm just, yeah,
talk about our, kind of guarantee there is.
set aside, there's what I was looking.
Set aside.
We set aside this particular line item on the agenda until next week, when we can have a Plunkett person come give us a little assurance that we have a decent potential of ridding
Let me see if I got
our flying rodent problem.
you. Okay. All right, so we have to put that aside, so we can ask, get your questions that you're gonna have for Plunkett next week. They'll either be here in person or on Zoom. so that we can have those questions answered about the guarantee. How
Well, it'd
long-
be nice, I guess, if Terry, if you talk to them to see if they can bring us any examples or
Yeah.
things that they've done similar to this in the past. Would certainly be helpful.
No, we don't wanna be perfect yet.
Thing I have is the question is regarding the increase in any structural load to the tower, because we're already maxed out at.
Good point, thank you.
Well, that's a big question
We
right
might have
there.
to contact our engineer about that.
Right, because I don't, we had to ask for a variance already when we put somebody on there. So we're exceeding like 110% or whatever.
Which Craig, didn't you say in the past too, that other
Excellent
counties have
point,
gotten
thank you.
permission from DNR to go shoot a vulture and hang it up there?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're just putting a little spikes up there, I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
Probably tried that.
Putting net on or something.
Yeah, that's where, that's what I spurred my thought on, so you put this netting up there, so you get an ice storm, so this netting gets covered in ice, and then you start throwing a wind at it, so you start increasing the load of that wind pushing on this towers.
We better have our engineer look at that.
Definitely
It's an
have
excellent
more
point,
questions
Kyle. I
about.
mean, does it look like on this varmint control that they were doing, that it was?
I like you, I look at it like that too.
I couldn't turn the names, I couldn't flip that all around. I will.
No, no.
Can't get any love, can you?
No.
It's perfect the way it is.
It's a very good job, Kyle.
No, I love it. You did such a good job.
I cannot believe the professionalism that we got.
You even used the ruler.
It's.
No, he's awesome.
But I read it the same way, I looked at the same way, I what you
I
looked
did
at.
exactly that way. So-
Did you,
You don't lie.
from looking at what Plunkett's gave you, did you suspect there was a net that was gonna hang on there?
Well,
That's
I
hilarious.
seen the netting part, but I didn't know if that was why. I was thinking that was maybe for the safety of putting them up there, or but I seen the netting part, which thought,
That's hilarious.
well, what we're gonna ice on that netting.
How's that?
We have a tendency to get ice, and then we get wind with it, so it's like.
Wind.
I know, I wanted to draw a
What's
compass
on
on
that
there or
netting?
something.
Cause I guess when I read that with Plunkett's, I didn't perceive them using a net, and that's why I just curious.
It did say netting.
I did say that, okay, all right, I just missed
So
that.
then on the
everybody get
bottom,
their
it's-
questions
all right.
lined up.
Yep. Thank you.
Get all your questions. all
And they
your
may just zoom in or something, so I'm gonna,
Do we
yeah.
need to have like trail or?
It'd be great to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, I'll see if, Chief can come, or at least zoom in or something.
Guaranteed, we wanna know about that.
Cardboard.
It'd be great.
That's all the crap we got in the hallway right now.
And timing,
Yeah.
we
Hallway
we
crap
have an
storage.
urgency to this.
Uh-huh.
We wanna have it before our absentee ballot, voting starts, so we have a little urgency. So how long until they can set
Well,
up?
it may not
That might not
look that
happen.
fast.
And will
Sarah's
that
got a
happen?
man on it there for you.
It may not happen.
You said May, so there's a chance.
Right, there's always a chance.
All right,
No.
so we've set that aside.
Oh,
So
we got an end. We're good.
we are now down to our citizens input. Seeing just a few people. Cindy's got her hand up. Come on, Cindy.
Oh, in fact, haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah,
Hello.
you're on. Hello.
I just wanted to, I'm working on an update with the pipeline. There is a lot going on that I'm not sure if you're all up to speed or not, but I'm not prepared to do that today, perhaps next week. But I did want to bring something that happened last week, especially to Ty's attention, because he's the one that questioned this about the sequestration and the dangers of that for the future. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the EPA filed a notice of violation of Safe Drinking Water Act against ADM for a plant they have for their ethanol plant in Decatur, Illinois. The plant was started in 2011. They've been pumping CO2 down the wells. And now 8,000 tons was leaked about 5,000 feet below the ground. And the EPA said that it was leaked into unauthorized zones and violated the safe drinking water. The company had known about the erosion in the wells since October of 23, but didn't do anything until the EPA happened upon it. So right now, I mean, their permit could be terminated for this. Right now, they have plugged the well, so no more CO2 is going down. Like I said, the well was built in 2011, but when they're talking about sequestering it forever, there are concerns out there. There is a bill that someone in, I'm not sure the person's name in Illinois, that filed that would prevent any other carbon sequestration projects from being built in areas where the sole source of drinking water is an underground aquifer, which is the case in Illinois. This, I'm going to butcher it, Mahomet Aquifer sustains nearly 1 million people in central Illinois, and this was what the wells were on top of. So just for Ty, I really wanted you to say that because, you know, safe, safe, safe. This is all safe. Obviously, years down the road, we have some evidence that it might not be. So I just wanted to update you on that, and other things, like I said, are happening with the lawsuits and the appeals. And October 8th, I don't know if any of you are going to be down in Des Moines that day, but you could keep it on your schedule. The landowners are going to be arguing oral arguments in front of the Iowa Supreme Court about the survey access laws. So it'll be an interesting one to go to. It's at 7 p.m. that night at the Capitol. So and the other thing I did want to bring up, I was going to ask about, does anyone know why Crawford County does not use the Beacon site, or who I would ask that to? I'm not sure what department it goes to.
Assessor, Cindy.
The assessors? Okay, I'll give them a call. I mean, we're pretty much like, of all the counties on the pipeline route, I think there's 3 that do not utilize Beacon, and Crawford is one of them. So I was just curious why we don't have our information accessible on that. So anyway.
The name. Thank you, Cindy. Do you want to be on the agenda next week for the update, or you just want to do it in citizens input?
I'll probably either do it citizens input. That'd probably be easier.
Absolutely. If you decide you want to be on the agenda, just let us know before 9 o'clock Monday morning.
Okay, I'll try to keep it 5 minutes and under, unless you guys promise to ask me some questions.
Well,
So,
shortly on the agenda, yes. We're on ours before 9 o'clock.
Before 9 o'clock. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So thank you for the update. Always appreciate it. Very informational for us. So thank you. Anything else
Okay.
you have today, Cindy? You good?
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Cindy.
very much. We have nobody in the audience, so I think we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, we are now officially adjourned.
For your information, I got my thumb on Denison's pulse. Next year would be their 150th.
Oh, okay.
They were incorporated in 1875.
Nobody ever really answered that. No.